Hey everybody, it's Mike Weller from the Weller Group here at Keller Williams Realty in Yorba Linda, and we are here. First time we're doing this. I'm hoping this might turn into a new regular feature. We'll see how that goes. But we're talking about what's happening around town here in Yorba Linda, and I am here with my friend Anthony Johnson. Anthony serves two roles. Hey Anthony, he is the field rep locally for Assemblyman Philip Chen. So he is the representative in Philip Chen's office here for his constituents in Yorba Linda and around the rest of his district. And he also serves on the Yorba Linda Traffic Commission. So this is a man who really knows what's going on in Yorba Linda. So, hey, Anthony, how are you?
Pretty good, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So we're here, I introduced both of your roles, but we're really here to talk to you a little bit more about Yorba Linda and what's happening. But before we get into any of that, just explain, you're on the Traffic Commission. People hear about that. People hear about the Planning Commission. And then, there's the mayor. Tell everybody just like kind of in a nutshell, a new business, a new restaurant is coming into Yorba Linda, kind of like what that process looks like as far as like the city working with the business owner to get open, what approvals has to happen. How does that flow?
Definitely. So, as you know, every traffic commissioner is appointed by the entire city council. And so there's five of us. We serve on the body of the commission. And we pretty much, decide on anything that's related to traffic and how it affects the residents of Yorba Linda. And then based off of that, we make recommendations to the city council. So one of the things that we definitely look at, like you mentioned, is, new businesses, new restaurants and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know one of the ones that we talked about recently was InNOut.
Yeah.
And so that had to go both through the Planning Commission and the Traffic Commission.
Yeah.
So it actually first came to us, the Traffic Commission, and we wanted to see exactly how it's going to impact traffic here in Yorba Linda.
Sure.
Not all the time will all restaurants go to the Traffic Commission. It's really up to staff. The city staff will decide whether it needs to come to the Traffic Commission or not. And then if it does, we will then decide whether it's going to impact traffic or not. When it comes to InNOut, we don't really think it will. And I know we talked about that in one of the newsletters.
Sure.
But then after the Traffic Commission, it will then go to the Planning Commission. And based off of the information and the advice that we recommend, the Planning Commission will then look into it, decide whether it fits into the Yorba Linda plan, whether they have all the permits, and if there's anything else that needs to be considered before approving it. After that, then it goes to the city council, and then the city council will then approve or reject the overall plan.
Gotcha. Yeah. Ultimately, it's the city council that makes the final decision with review from the Planning Commission and Traffic Commission where appropriate. So, and I think everybody, I think people in Yorba Linda, if cars are lined up and down Imperial Highway, people wouldn't mind just to have InNOut. But based on what you guys looked at, it looks like they have a pretty solid plan to handle the traffic.
Definitely, yeah. It's amazing because they have in the drive-through line itself, it's going to hold at least 30 cars, and then if that does overflow, it'll hold an additional 15 cars in the parking lot. So that's 45 cars alone just in the InNOut property, and that's as most as pretty much any InNOut will get. We asked to compare it to the one in Anaheim Hills, which a lot of Yorba Lindians will compare it to. Right. And pretty much the max that it gets over there will all fit inside the property here.
Gotcha. Awesome. That's awesome. And we did talk about that in one of our newsletters, but just, for those who didn't see that newsletter, but they're watching this, you want to share anything more about InNOut, when it's coming, where it will be? That's exciting news for, I think, a lot of people in Yorba Linda.
Definitely. Yeah. So the InNOut will go where the old public library was, which is on the corner of Lemon Drive and Imperial Highway and Olinda Drive. So we expect it to come in at the end of 2021 or in 2022. Right now, the old library is being demolished to make way for InNOut. The city is in charge of demolishing the library and pretty much leveling the entire property. Mm-hmm. Once that is done, there will be close of escrow and the property will then be transferred to InNOut.
Okay. Very exciting. And work on construction of their new building. I know you also shared with me, and I think we shared this in our newsletter, about the Clydes Hot Chicken that's coming by the town center. You want to talk about that a tiny bit too?
Definitely. So that's actually one of the restaurants that actually did not come to the traffic commission.
Okay.
Yet, if we did have any input, we were allowed to provide input to the planning commission.
Okay.
And the main reason why it didn't come to the traffic commission was because city staff doesn't believe it will really have too much of an impact to Yorba Linda and its location in the town center. Clyde's Hot Chicken will be going where the old Evans Barbecue was, off
Right.
of I believe it was School Street, and I believe it's like Arrow Street or Arrow Vista Street.
Yep.
Right behind Bristol Farms there.
Yeah. So just kind of, to help people picture it, right behind Bristol Farms, like you said, if you've been back behind Bristol Farms where the parking garage is, like just to the west of the parking garage across that street, I think, right?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so the main reason why, like I said, there's no impact to traffic in Yorba Linda, and that's also based off of all the other locations of Clyde's Hot Chicken. There was no more than, I think, 7 cars per hour.
Right.
And so, yeah. So with that, it went straight to the planning commission, and they looked at the design and whether it fits into the specific town center plan.
Yeah.
For Yorba Linda.
Okay. Okay. Well, very good. Very good. And then I guess just one more thing, we were talking about before we turned on the record button here. There's not a whole lot, those are the main things that are kind of happening in Yorba Linda right now from a planning, from a traffic standpoint. The one other city business piece you mentioned was the city, joining on with a bunch of other cities to support the sheriff. And do you want to talk about that for a moment? Just share that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll talk a little bit about it. So there was a recent court ruling where a judge asked the Orange County Sheriff, Don Barnes, to release some inmates because of COVID-related reasons. And the Orange County Sheriff wants to
review that more.
Yeah, wants to review that more.
Yeah.
Just because the sheriff does have a solid plan that he believes. And he believes that he can definitely prevent COVID from coming into the jails. But not only that, though, also take care of the inmates that do have COVID.
Right.
In one of the statements that the sheriff released, he said that he was able to get the amount of COVID inmates down to 0. So at one point in the Orange County jails, none of the inmates did have COVID. And so he believes that he can easily control that. And so the city council did sign on to a letter to support the sheriff. And if you do want to find more information about that, I highly recommend going to either the city's website or their social media page, or also going to the sheriff's social media page or website.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So they don't feel comfortable just releasing half of the inmate population out into the streets. So
right.
I'm not sure I'd feel great about that either as a resident, but so hopefully they'll get that all worked out. So, okay. Well, I think that's it for our first crack at what's going on around Yorba Linda here, Anthony. So thanks so much. Thanks for joining me for a few minutes. Have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas. I got my Star Wars Christmas cap on here, shooting a couple of days before Christmas Eve. And, hopefully we can do this again in January, in the new year, 2021.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Mike. Hope you have a happy holidays as well.
Thanks, Anthony. Take care.
You too.